Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So I guess we can start. My name is Simon Roses, and I will introduce myself, and I will talk about conquer enterprise from inside the with penetration testing Dropboxes, right? I think it's quite an interesting topic. So my name is Simon Roses. I'm coming from Spain. I flew from last night, so I'm still with the jet lag. But I will try my best. I used to work in Microsoft. I left Microsoft to start my own company back in Spain, but I also do work here in the US and other places. So that's been quite interesting. I also won a US DARPA Cyber Fast Track Award. So I developed a technology. That's our product. I went to the Pentagon two days there to show the technology. Quite an interesting experience for a foreign. But still, it was fun, right? So this is my first BSides in San Francisco. So I'm really happy to be here, right? So the talk will be not about Dropbox, the file sharing service, right? I know they are sponsors of the conference, so that's nothing to do with this. Just to make sure, just to clarify that, right? I love the service, but it has nothing to do with my talk. Just to keep that in mind. You were looking for some pen testing Dropbox or something like that? Nothing to do. Okay, so the objective for the talk, pen testing Dropboxes. So the idea is just you have a box, different type of boxes, and we will talk about all that. And you do those boxes in the corporate network, right? And that's pretty much the main topic of the talk. And here I will give you some tip of the field, right? Things I do. Doesn't mean it's perfect or the right way or anything like that. I mean, it's my way. I mean, a few things I do. I also see other people what they are doing. So there's no any right or wrong approach here. Just some tips from experience, basically. So the agenda for the talk will be an introduction about talking about penetration testing Dropboxes. Then we will focus on pen testing Dropboxes, the different types we can use. I mean, I focus on the most common, I guess. There are many more, but the ones I will talk about, I probably say that everybody's using those, right? Then we will talk about weaponizing those pen testing Dropboxes. There's much more things we can do with them. So that's the cool part of doing this. Then we will do some demos, and then we will give you some conclusion, and that will be the talk, right? Okay, so the ideas, right? For the Dropboxes. The approach I usually follow. I mean, some people like to do covert, others do transparent, right? I mean, covert, usually, the idea here is we have a pen testing Dropbox. Just basically a computer prepared for attack, and I leave that computer in the enterprise. And many people like to do covert, so the blue team or the IT security people doesn't know, and that's fine. And maybe for the first time we can do that. But after, I also like to be more transparent, so people know that box is there, doing this nasty stuff on the network, right? Because blue team knows, so hopefully they can improve that as well, and we will talk about that. I think that's quite interesting. So I like more to be more transparent, so both everybody knows what we're doing, and hopefully everybody can improve. Then build trust. That's quite important here. I mean, you guys are pen testers. I'm sure many of you are here, right? You know when you go to the customers, they want you to do a pen testing in the customer, but pretty much you can do anything on the network. Sounds familiar, right? That's quite common. They hire you, but you cannot do pretty much nothing. Bad guys can do, but you cannot. So we have to build trust. I mean, when you're talking with a customer and you want to deploy a box there that have offensive capabilities, they're not very excited about that. They're not very happy. So hopefully for this to work, we have to build trust with the customer. And usually when we're doing pen testing engagement, for the first time, we are not sending a box because there's going to be a scare about that. So hopefully we'll send people there to do pen testers. We send at least for the first time. So hopefully now we are building trust there, and after that, hopefully maybe we can go with this approach with the Dropboxes. after we have built test. But that first we have to build, and that is not always easy, or sometimes it takes also time. Oh, that lie is quite strong. And we also we have to follow the rules, because meaning that we have a Dropbox, a pen testing Dropbox in our client's network. We have to follow the rules. Doesn't mean we can do whatever we want, because if we mess up something, the customer will be pissed off, will be quite angry at us, right? And we don't want that. So we have to follow the rules. Building tests, follow the rules. That's quite important topics when we are doing this with the Dropboxes. And of course, there are many ways, and I will show you a few ways I use, and there are many more. So red team and blue team. I see a lot of discussion about this, and like they are always fighting. They are different people. They don't talk with each other and stuff like that. And I think that's wrong. In the case of the pen testing Dropboxes, when using this kind of approach, I think it's quite interesting, because now I think it's a win-win for both, and that's perfect. For the red team, we can do remote testing, less travel, perfect. I mean, you guys are consultants, right? You know what I'm talking about. We hate traveling all the time. Hopefully, with this, we can travel less. Perfect. Everybody's happy. We can work remote. And actually, it allows this with the Dropboxes, depending on the configuration, we will talk about that. We have also a wider range of attacks. There's a lot of different attacks we can do with this, and we'll cover that. And as I mentioned before, there's less travel, hopefully, so that's perfect. And hopefully, it's lower cost. I mean, if a client hire us to do pen testing, we can ship the Dropboxes there. It's going to be less expensive, the pen testing, because we don't have to send people there, right? So it's perfect. And the blue team is also quite benefit, because they know there is a box there that pen testers are using to continuously launch internal attacks. So they have to improve their game. They are continuously improving detection skills. Perfect. That's wonderful for the blue team. And they can test all the defenses if they are working or not, because the red team with the Dropbox in place, they are launching different type of attacks. So blue teams can pick that up and keep improving. Perfect. And hopefully, because the red team is costing less, hopefully blue team has more budget. And the end is about communication, right? I think with this approach, hopefully we can create communication with the red and blue, and that's perfect. And that should be our goal, right? To improve both sides. Okay, another things that I like a lot about using pen testing Dropboxes is now we're talking about assumed breach, right? Meaning that your network is already compromised, so you have to take that approach and hunt for malware or attackers inside your network. With the Dropboxes, it's already there, and we know that. So that it fits quite nicely with the assumed breach using the pen testing Dropboxes. Now, Dropboxes, in this talk, I will focus more for a pen testing point of view, of course, because that's what we're doing. But people are using Dropboxes on the wild, and here I have a couple of cases. We will go over it. So the first one, there was I think it was last year. I haven't uploaded the slides, so that's my fault. But hopefully today or tomorrow they will be up in the BSides website, and you guys will be able to download or go to the links. But in this Reddit.com post there, we can read entire thread, and they were talking about, and there was a university here in the US, I forgot the name, which one? I think it was in California, and they found a device there. So and in the YouTube video link there, they did a reverse engineering. Well, actually, they took the firmware of that device and tried to analyze to see what's going on. So they assumed there was something malicious. In this case, it was not. It was just a former student of the university doing a startup. So he developed a couple of Dropboxes, and he put those Dropboxes across the university to gather data. And that's pretty much what he did. But he didn't tell anyone. So people, when they were finding those devices, people didn't know what was that about. But at the end, it was nothing malicious, but still quite interesting case. Now we're moving to more malicious cases in the wild. That is a case also in the US. That's a Raspberry Pi with a USB, Bluetooth, and RFID dongle connected there. The green light, that's the USB dongle. And that's that device, this Dropbox, was found in the network rack. And actually, you go to the link. They don't give you much detail because I think there's still investigation is going on. But and the thing is, I think in the post they were saying that only 4 people have access to the rack, and they were saying that none of them did that. So they don't know where is this coming from, but they found this device inside their rack. Quite interesting, and hopefully, and I'm sure, hopefully, well, I mean, in this case, probably it will be something malicious. We don't know because in the post they talk about it. They didn't give any details yet because they still investigate it. But probably this is something bad in this case. And this device was in their rack, right? Quite scary. And the third case, even more scary, is. This has been going on for the last several months in Europe, in Eastern Europe. The criminals have been deploying Dropboxes in different banks, and they have still money, like several, I mean, tens of millions of dollars using this. And this is for real. And you can go to the link, and I think this article is only one, I think it's only one month or 2 months old. So that's quite new, and this is happening. For real, I guess there's not that many cases on the media because I don't know if people don't know those devices are there, or people want, or if they find this kind of stuff they keep it quiet. Probably a little bit of both, but this is quite interesting because those criminals they were using cheap laptops, Raspberry Pis, and Bass Bunny, right? Some typical devices and very cheap. So they were buying low gadgets to achieve their objective and making millions. So that sounds good. And this is for real, right? Okay, so now let's move to the pentesting Dropboxes. So here I have a couple of boxes. Can you guys, any guesses of these devices? No guess? Pi Zero, yes? Which one? No? Yes? Okay, so the zero for your left is the P0. In the middle is a Raspberry Pi 3, and on the right is a Odgoy C2, and that's quite nice. Those are small size, and it fits in your palm size. It's quite nice. They are powerful enough. I mean, for example, the O2, the Odgoy C2 there has 2 GB of RAM. That's a small device, so it's quite neat to run that. I mean, it's not for password cracking, so forget any password cracking here, but we can do a lot of things with those boxes. So we have the Zero, Raspberry Pi, and Odgoy C2, right? So those are really nice boxes we can use for pen testing. We can set up those boxes and deploy those in a customer, right? Okay, so the HAK5. I guess those are more familiar. Can you guys guess? Pineapple, yes. Packet Square, yes. So actually, Pineapple Nano, in this case, Packet Squirrel, and Land Turtle. Why I'm showing the HAK5 have more gadgets, some interesting gadgets, but those 3 are really interesting for a reason. In case you didn't know, I didn't put it here, I forgot, so that's my fault. The guys from HAK5 just released last year a web app called Cow C2, and you can download it for free, and there's also a commercial version, but allows you, actually it's a web app management tool to manage those devices. So the idea is you can start deploying those the Pineapple, Packet Squirrel, and Land Turtle in networks, in a customer or whatever, and with the software they have released, that web app the CAL C2, you can manage those devices. So that's quite neat. For example, for the Dropboxes, there's not much ways to manage. I mean, we will manage, but this also very manual. I mean, but this with the web they have released, quite nice to manage these devices. And they are saying that they will allow more devices, not from HAKS 5, but from others, to connect to this web app as well. So that's kind of neat. If you need more firepower, we have a couple of options here. Can you guys guess those? Yes? And the one on the right maybe is a bit tougher. That's so we have Intel NUC, and that's Zotac Nano. Those are like that size. And those are real PCs with a lot of power. I mean, you can put, depending on we're talking here, those boxes can go for 200, 300, 400, depending what you want. So quite neat. You have a lot of power there. Operating systems, Kali, Parrot Security, Ubuntu. Typical deployment operating system Kali. Parrot is also quite good to use. And now let's go to weaponizing. More interesting. So we can add those gadgets to the Dropboxes and become more powerful. So here, I think we have 10 minutes. Oh, this is going fast. I think I have several things to cover here. Okay, so let's move it forward. So here I have different gadgets I use. Like Ubertooth one, the Sina UD100 is a long-range Bluetooth device, quite nice. Bluetooth dongles, Wi-Fi, USB cards. That's CSL, in case you don't know, is a Chinese Wi-Fi adapter for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz for Wi-Fi, quite neat. And it only costs, I think, is $15, something like that. It's quite neat to perform testing. Then we have also SDRs we can use, like Crazy Radio, Lime, RTL SDR, and BRF. There are more, but those are US also HAKRF, it's not here. But you can also use those to add to your Dropboxes, and you can do more attacks, and I will show you in a little bit. So all these things we can add more attacks to our Dropbox. So this is a typical network for a customer, and here we will deploy our box. Hopefully in the corporate network we have the users. I mean, we can put it anywhere, but most chances are we will put it on usually they will not allow us in the server networks, maybe, but hopefully, probably not. So usually we will go with the corporate network. But there we have the users, cell phones, printers, Wi-Fi, access points, a lot of things. So now with those boxes, we can do all the classic attacks, network attacks using Metasploit, Nmap, Bettercap, whatever you want. But also with the different dongles I just showed you from Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or radio. We can do a lot of radio frequency attacks. That's becoming quite interesting because not many people are attacking that. For example, we can do Blueborn. Blueborn is a vulnerability there that we can exploit and get a shell on different phones. We can do mousejacking. We can send commands to desktops, and we will show you a little bit. So there's a lot of things we can do on testing. There's also a lot of IoT, a lot of devices on the networks that they don't manage. People don't know. With our Dropbox, we can look for those and try to find vulnerabilities and do whatever we want there, right? So that's quite interesting. So the demos. So I have a couple of videos because because with the jet lag and everything, I didn't want to try my lag. So I will go for videos instead of doing live. And I don't want to bring all my gear to the airport with the TSA. They are not that friendly, even for a foreign. So I guess I will end up something weird. So I didn't want to test my lag. So this is video. It's not showing there. No. I guess I have to move. There we go. So the first video showing there. Yeah. This is there are many ways. For example, when I have a Dropbox in a customer, there are many ways you can use SSH or DNS for command and conquer. Well, command and conquer. I mean command and control, right? But one way I'm doing it, I saw like 2 years ago a guy talking, I forgot the website, but they were talking about they wrote a tool to use CNC commands through social networks. So that's what I wrote my own version. So here, sorry, I have to give you the back. So upstairs we have Twitter. Downstairs is the Dropbox in a customer network. And on the right side is Facebook. So basically it works. I put a command, a shell command on my Twitter. My Dropbox agent read that, executes the command, and send that to Facebook. So I'm using those as a channel to send my commands and receive. So here is, okay, so I'm sending commands there. I'm getting the output. And now I go to Facebook, and I see the results. So now that's an easy way I can command my Dropboxes, right? And quite neat. And come on, let's be honest. How many companies are able to detect this kind of stuff? Not that many. And here I'm going quite easily. Everything is actually both the Facebook and the Twitter are private accounts, but it's in clear text. But I could also cipher that, use stenography with pictures. There's a lot of things I could do to even cover my tracks. But here I'm going just easily. So here I'm using different commands, and it's there on the Facebook. So that's quite neat. So I send commands on Twitter, executing my Dropbox in the customer network, get results in Facebook. Let me see here, let's do, and here, for example, I can do internal recon. For example, let's run a nmap, looking for boxes. I'm inside the network, I want to see more boxes, I can start attack. So yeah, so running nmap there, I got my results there in Facebook. So that's a nice way to command my boxes, right? Up. Okay, okay, so now let's move to another demo. This is going weird. Mouse there. It's not going. Okay. So now I'm running a Kismet, the wireless scanner, but with some, that went fast. But here, Kismet, if you are using last version of Kismet, it has a lot of interesting things. It can do also Bluetooth, 463 megahertz protocol. There's a lot of devices there. So here, 5 minutes? Okay, so I guess I have to rush. So with Kismet here, using all the different dongles, the SDR dongles and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, I'm able to get a lot of devices from the customer. Here we have Wi-Fi. The ones in blue are Bluetooth. There's also pink in pink. Those are from usually sensor and different type of devices from the 433 frequency. So there's a lot of things we can do here. There was the one there. So we can have this and get a lot of devices. Many times, because people are bringing their own devices and a lot of stuff, we can get a lot of devices in the network that people, many times, that even the security people or IT staff didn't know about it. And with this way, we can start mapping all that. So that's kind of neat. Okay. And the last one, okay. Let me show you. Oh, where's my mouse? There we go. So this is a mousejacking attack. So actually, this works. If you're not familiar with this attack, is I can send remote commands over radio to a computer. So here in this case, I'm using the BetterCap. BetterCap, the last version of BetterCap has this capability now. So with you just need a crazy radio dongle. That's the crazy radio downstairs here connected to a Raspberry Pi. And now this is a Windows computer we are pretending is in the corporate network there. And now what we do with BetterCap, I'm trying to detect devices. Here, what I'm exploiting is the user has a wireless mouse, a vulnerability in that mouse. So I'm using that. So actually, here what we're doing is we are using RabbitDucky scripts to inject into the computer remotely. So here I send that command to this computer and I did open this page, right? But we can send a lot of all the RabbitDucky commands. So that's quite nice. And this attack is like, I think it's 3 years old, but still it has been fixed. But still, we can see many vulnerability devices on networks, and we can exploit that. So yeah, so the social networks, command and con, RF monitoring using Kismet. It has a really nice radio now analysis capabilities these days. And this is the mouse hijacking with the crazy radio dongle, right? And we can perform remote attacks, inject attacks into the Windows user, right? So that's kind of neat. So the conclusion is in this case it's quite affordable. I mean, those devices are quite cheap. We are talking around 50, 100, 150, depends on all the dongles and accessories you want to put, but usually it's quite cheap. It improves security defenses because we can do a lot of more testing because many companies are not doing at the moment. And this is not there is not only just one way. I mean, I just show you a few things I'm doing, but there's more ways to do. For example, you go to those resources, hopefully today or tomorrow when I upload the slides, all the slices, you can go to those links. And here in the BDA Labs and Beck-Hill's InfoSec Security, they have really nice links on how they do the box pen testing. So that's quite neat to read those resources, right? And that's pretty much I have for the talk. I don't know if we have time for questions. I will be here all day and tomorrow anyways. Actually, I'm here all week for the RSA as well. So you want to talk, just ping me on Twitter and that's fine. But we have time for questions? Perfect.
Yeah, we do actually. Just want to ask everybody to give it up for Simon. It was a great chat.
Thanks.
Do we have any questions from the audience here? I'll try to get the microphone up to you if that makes it easy. One in the back? You're right there. Woo!
Hi. How do you, if this is part of your methodology, how do you actually hide the devices? What kind of techniques do you use to make sure that they can get power, which is probably the most difficult thing to achieve, and that they don't look like obnoxiously orange casing?
Well, there's a lot of talks about that, how to hide your devices in mouses or in keyboards, on printers, stuff like that. I usually don't. In my case, I don't. That was the thing I was talking before about cover and transparent. I prefer to be transparent. I prefer to have that device, they know it's there, and what they think it can do. So I usually don't try to cover in that sense. But there are many ways, actually. There have been, if you look talks, there are, I think in DEF CON and other conferences, people have been talking about putting those kind of devices in printers, and in keyboards, and in a power strap. Power strap is really nice. You have a lot of space there to put stuff. So there are different techniques you can use.
Great, thanks. We've got another question here that came through the portal. Dropboxes shown were 0, PI3, and blank. We're looking for that third one there.
Excuse me?
We had a question come in through the portal here and inquiring about the existing Dropboxes that you shown on the screen there. Dropboxes shown were the 0.
The 0,
the PI3.
Raspberry Pi 3, and the Droid C2.
There you have it. And time for maybe one more question from the audience. Cool. If you could just give me 2 seconds here, I have some announcements to make. So just a couple things here really quickly. We've got some T-shirts that are available. They can be purchased at the Coat Check. The T-shirt sales proceeds will be going to a charity of your choice. You get to vote with some tokens and some boxes over there. Definitely pretty neat. Check that out. There's going to be a raffle for the folks, all you participants using the sponsor passport in your registration bag. If you want to visit the sponsors in the sponsor hall there, use that sponsor passport and get all your stamps before 11 a.m. on Monday. Winners for that will be announced in the sponsor lounge at 1 p.m. on Monday. And then finally, tonight there's an event going on. It's a happy hour sponsored by Cyberry. Thank you very much. At 5:30 p.m. You want to check your guides for where that's going to be going down. That's all we have. Again, let's give it up for Simon, everybody. Thanks very much.